negotiating a new job? Well, today I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes you can make when negotiating a new salary. Hi, my name is Mary Jervich, and I'm the founder of My Promotion Plan, a company that is dedicated to helping women go from passed over to promoted. We do this through my revolutionary My Promotion Plan system, the same system that I use to go from stuck to being made an executive and a partner, and the same system that women across the country are using to earn 40% more and sometimes even doubling their salaries without waiting for their boss to notice them and without being rejected. If you want to learn more, you can head on over to maryjervich.com. But right now, let's talk about that biggest negotiation mistake that you can make. Okay, so you're going in to get a new job. Well, the first thing we need to do if we're going in to get a new job is we need to understand what the pay should be for that role. One of the mistakes I see women make, which is not the biggest mistake we're going to be talking about today, but one of the mistakes I see made often is that we don't appropriately find our market value. What I mean by this is that we will go into a new job and instead of actually doing the research to see, okay, well, I was in a manager position before, now I'm going to a director position. We don't actually look at what the director salary should be. We actually just look at our own previous salary and we come up with some arbitrary number of what we should be making in this next role. So the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out what does that role pay. Sometimes it'll be right in the job descriptions and other times it's not. And so you can use different websites to be able to figure out this market value. You can talk to other people in the industry, but you want to figure out what is the average range for this position. Okay, so say you go in and you are doing a great job with these interviews and they ask you, what is your salary requirement? And you give them a range. Let's just say you tell them $100,000, or you want to make somewhere between $100,000 and $110,000. And now, they come back a few weeks later, you're going through this interview process, everything is great. They come back and they say, okay, we want to give you $100,000, which is actually a $20,000 increase from what you were making before because you're getting paid for your value. So now you go back to your other employer and you tell them, give them your resignation and you let them know, hey, I'm going to be leaving because I found this other job. And they ask you, well, how much are you going to make over there? And you tell them, well, I'm going to make $100,000. And they're like, okay, well, we'll do that plus 10 grand more. And so now you're going to be able to make 110 grand at your current job. So what do? The biggest mistakes that you can make is actually going back to the other employer and trying to renegotiate. Once you give your employer what your range is, you cannot go outside of that. And you certainly can't go back and say, hey, I just told my current employer that I'd be leaving and they said that they'd actually give me 110. So will you bump me up? The truth is anytime we're negotiating a new pay, we will oftentimes get that price that we negotiate for. The only times that it doesn't work is whenever we negotiate for a price and then we try to renegotiate. So what you want to know is that you only have one chance to negotiate. So you want to be really sure of the compensation that you're giving them, that you are actually, happy to accept whatever rate that is. And if you're giving them a range, a couple of tips here. If you give them a range, one, be sure that you don't give them too big of a range. If you give them too big of a range, what that says is, well, I have low confidence in myself is what it really says. Because what it says is I feel like I'm only valued at this amount, even though I would really like to make this amount, I really am only seeing my value here. And so anytime we give an employer a range, we also want to be okay, accepting whatever the lowest end of that range is. So if they come back and they say, okay, well, we're going to give you 100,000, well, then you should be okay with that because you said I would like to make between this and this. So one tip and key for you is that if you would actually like to earn a little bit more, you can always say, hey, I'd like to earn between 110,000 and 120,000. And now they may come back and they may say, well, hey, unfortunately, the position, it only goes up until the starting position is only at, 105,000. Well, now you have that opportunity to say, am I willing to negotiate down? Or you may say, okay, maybe this isn't the job that I actually want. Even if it's more money than before, because it may be harder to get pay raises if they are already paying you less than what you want. It may be harder to get pay raises moving into the future. But the key is anytime you're negotiating, which I always recommend that you do, only negotiate once and always remember that you will only give them a range in which the lowest number would be acceptable for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button for me, hit the little notification button so you will get alerted when more great videos like this come out, and be sure to share it. And if you haven't already, you can always head on over to maryjervich.com. We've got lots of great free resources for you, including our free masterclass, Why Earning a Promotion Feels So Dang Hard, and what you can do instead. And until next time, remember, you're only one plan away from your next promotion, and God, well, He's not done with you.